I wanted to sit down today and film a little video for all of my friends out there who are introverted or soft-spoken, or the person who enjoys listening more than speaking, and the person who really enjoys and marinates in their time alone or their one-on-one time with other people, because that is me. My whole life have been such an introvert, and I think I spent so much of my life seeing that as a negative thing and feeling bad about myself and always wondering why I wasn't more talkative in social settings, and I just always questioning what I was saying, and so I just wanted to make this video because the past year or so I've been emerging into social settings more and seeing what that feels like in my body, while also respecting the distance that I need. And I kind of just wanted to talk about my process today with it, because if it can help you, if you feel like you're introverted, I just wanted to have a heart-to-heart introvert conversation. For the past 4 years, I've lived in Los Angeles, and I worked in the restaurant industry for about 3 years. And so working in the restaurant industry, I worked with a lot of people who were entertainers, actors, actresses, models, singers, everyone who lived in the realm of being outgoing. And now what I do currently, I work in social media, content creation. And so I am constantly circulating a group of people who are content creators. Being in that realm of people for so long who are outgoing, I have felt sometimes like my reservedness or my introvertedness or my soft-spokenness was a negative thing, and it was something that I needed to outgrow. And I'm saying this also because if you are soft-spoken and you operate in a realm of a lot of people who aren't soft-spoken and who are outgoing and all this stuff, it can be easy to think that that's the better way to be. But the truth is that there's no better way to be. The best way to be is yourself. And so I have really lately been putting it into practice, because I've been noticing that I really need it, of when I'm in a situation with a group of people, taking a breath and knowing that there's nothing that I need to say. There's no quantity of things I need to say. There's no amount of things that I need to contribute to a conversation. I have full permission to just sit down and not even talk to anyone. I actually really prefer to listen in groups of people. I do not prefer to talk. I prefer to listen. I don't know why. I just do. I've been lately practicing giving myself permission to do that, because what I've been learning is it's not about the words that you say, it's about the presence that you carry. And so in moments when I'm in groups of people and I feel nervous and I think I should contribute something to the conversation, or I'm I wonder if they think I'm shy because I'm not talking, those are moments where I get to breathe and give myself full permission to say nothing, because sometimes saying nothing is the most honest thing that you can say. If you are finding yourself in a social setting and you're second guessing yourself a little bit and you're should I be contributing to the conversation? What if they think I'm shy? I'm not saying anything. It's a really good opportunity to take a breath, a deep breath, and just pay attention to your breath, feel your body, and know your strength and know who you are. And sometimes, a lot of times, there's strength in softness, and there is strength in listening. Everybody fills their own role in whatever way is best for them. And so there's no best way to be except for yourself. So in those situations, know that it's totally okay to not say anything. It's totally okay to just listen and be there. But the other side of that coin that I've been really working on is, if you experience any form of being uncomfortable in social settings or uncomfortable around other people or in certain situations, you probably do this too, but sometimes I get so in my head about doing the littlest of things. So for example, if I'm thirsty and I'm at a table of people, I don't get up to get myself water because I'm nervous, what are they gonna, totally irrational things, what are they gonna think of me? Or am I interrupting the conversation? What if I don't stand up right? It goes to all these really funny things. Or if I have something to contribute to the conversation, but I'm feeling nervous, it's almost I feel something is like choking my throat and I'm unable to speak into it. And I think that's a very common thing. In those moments where I have an essence of truth to share, or there's something that I need to do to fulfill my needs, like go to the bathroom or go get water or even step outside for a moment, giving myself permission to do it and just stepping through the fear. And almost when I step into it and just do it, I then realize that everything I've been putting in my head was totally irrational, because most people around me are not paying attention to me, they're paying attention to another person. And so heart-to-heart introvert conversation, I highly recommend, like, if there's something that feels really true to what you need to do in the moment, give yourself permission to do it and just do it. And once you get in the habit of just doing things that kind of scare you a little bit, it becomes second nature. And whenever a fear pops up that kind of scares you of doing something or saying something that feels really true to you, you kind of enjoy pushing past that fear and you feel like it becomes a habit and you owe it to yourself. And I really try now to do that. And I think pretty much everyone experiences some level of being uncomfortable in social settings because of the pressure that we put on ourselves of how other people view us, when in reality, they tend to be putting that same pressure on themselves. But I think a huge thing is like giving ourselves permission to be as we are and be okay with how that's received. And giving yourself that permission lets you go so deep into yourself where you begin to love yourself so much that no matter how you're received, it doesn't matter, because you know that you spoke your truth, you know that you showed up as you were, and you know that you gave from a place of selfless love, and that you also gave to yourself through that, because you allowed yourself to speak and to be. And it's really a beautiful thing to learn how to push past those little feelings of fear, because the more I do, the more I realize that so much of what those fears are built upon are not real things. So many of the things that hold us back are not a real fear of how it's going to be perceived. It's almost like the habit of us being used to being afraid of it. So even though I know that when I get up and go to the bathroom, nobody's going to judge me. Like, why would they judge me? Even though I know that, that fear comes up because it's a habit. And just like anything, habits can be broken. And so know that two parts again. Know that the way that you are is perfect. And if you're soft-spoken like I am, or if your power is in your gentleness, know that that's okay and honor that. And then in those situations where you're around people and you're uncomfortable, know that you have the full power to speak your truth and you get to go in your fear. And as I was just saying before I mentioned that other piece, most of the fear that you feel is a habit. And so know that you have the full power to push through it and rise. And the more that you kind of speak into that fear, or just like go in a little bit here or go in a little bit there, the more that you become comfortable with it. And I think that's a huge thing for me, is the more I become stronger in being able to voice my needs and contribute to a conversation and show up as myself, the more I really realize that being soft is not wrong. And in fact, if that's what I am, then it's the most right thing I can do. And I know that I'll change throughout my lifetime, and I probably will get more comfortable being around a lot of people as I get older. But for where I'm at right now, I'm just learning to have so much compassion for myself, because I'm perfect just the way I am. And I don't need to be something that I'm not to have other people like me, because the more I compromise who I am, the more disconnected from who I am. And so just learning to have so much love and compassion for yourself is like a breath of fresh air, because you just realize that you're so held within yourself that the people in your life will either meet you there or you'll bring new people into your life. Just take a breath, move into what makes you afraid if it feels true to you. Know that the way that you are is absolutely perfect, and you have full permission to be that, because even if one person doesn't accept you, if you are standing tall in who you are, you will always accept you, and that will always be enough. Much, much harder to deal with being inauthentic and being liked than it is to deal with being fully authentic and not being liked. Thank you so much for listening to this introvert, heart-to-heart, soft-spoken, anyone, heart-to-heart. Just be who you are. It will always be enough. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you're doing well and taking care of yourself. And I just hope that no matter who you are, that you get to dive so deep into yourself and find that deeper and know yourself deeper and then show up that way in the world. Just remember too, like when you're in a social setting or you're anxious about something that you said or you're anxious about anything in your life, just remember that we live on this beautiful living earth, this beautiful living planet that we grew out of. And it's in the middle of this vast space, this black space with stars and one giant star that we're orbiting around, and there's distant galaxies and the sky is blue for whatever reason. I don't know, I'm not a scientist. And it fades into that blackness, but before it does, it's this vibrant blue color, and we have the ocean and we have the wind, the way it moves through the trees, and we have other animals, and life is such a mystery and such a gift. And so just returning to that wonder is like the thing that makes everything else feel so small. And so if you feel like your struggles in your life feel really big, or you're in a social setting and it feels like the biggest thing and it feels tense, just remember that we don't even know why we exist. And so relatively everything is so small and everything is such a wonderful gift. And so just learn to dance in it and remember the joy and wonder of being alive, because it truly is a joyful and wonderful thing. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope that you're doing well and taking care of yourself. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day today.